In a world filled with constant distractions, challenges, and pressures, the pursuit of wisdom has never been more important. Stoicism, an ancient Greek philosophy founded by Zeno of Citium in the 3rd century BCE, offers timeless lessons on how to navigate life with calm, clarity, and resilience. Stoic thinkers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius emphasized the power of reason, virtue, and self-discipline in overcoming the inevitable struggles we face. Their teachings remind us that while we cannot control the external events in our lives, we can control our reactions, thoughts, and behaviors. At its core, Stoicism advocates for accepting life as it comes, without being swept away by emotions like anger, fear, or greed. It teaches us to focus on what is within our control, our attitudes, choices, and actions, while letting go of the things we cannot change. Stoicism urges us to live in harmony with nature, practice self-reflection, and cultivate inner peace by aligning our lives with reason and virtue. However, in the modern world, many of us find ourselves falling into patterns of thought and behavior that contradict the wisdom of the Stoics. We often indulge in complaints, excuses, and self-pity, believing that we are powerless or entitled to more. These unwise statements not only hinder our personal growth, but also prevent us from living a fulfilling life. In this article, we will explore 11 things wise minds never say, a collection of common phrases that contradict Stoic wisdom. Each of these statements reflects a mindset that keeps us trapped in negative thought cycles, preventing us from embracing the Stoic path toward peace, self-mastery, and true contentment. By identifying these pitfalls, we can begin to align our thoughts and actions with timeless Stoic principles. 1. I can't handle this. Have you ever found yourself thinking, I can't handle this? When life throws a curveball, be it an unexpected challenge, a difficult conversation, or an overwhelming situation, it's easy to feel like you're about to break. But here's the thing. The Stoics would tell you that this is exactly where your power lies. According to Stoic philosophy, the real test isn't in the event itself, but in how you choose to respond to it. Imagine this. Instead of succumbing to the pressure, you rise above it, recognizing that you control your reactions, not the external chaos. Stoicism teaches that we are all capable of much more than we give ourselves credit for, and the idea of I can't handle this is a self-imposed limit. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. So, the next time life pushes you to your breaking point, remember that these obstacles are opportunities for growth, not roadblocks. You are stronger than you think, and what seems unbearable can actually become the catalyst for your transformation. This powerful perspective shifts our mindset from helplessness to empowerment. It's not about avoiding discomfort, but embracing it as part of the human experience. It's about realizing that challenges are not to be feared or avoided. They are meant to be faced head-on with courage and resolve. So what would happen if we stopped saying, I can't handle this, and instead said, I am ready for this challenge? The Stoics would argue that we'd unlock our true potential. What do you think? Have you ever pushed past a limit you once thought was impossible? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss how we can all handle more than we ever thought we could. 2. This is unfair. Have you ever caught yourself saying, this is so unfair, when life doesn't go your way? It's a natural response when things feel out of control. But here's the shocking truth that Stoicism reveals. Life is never about fairness. The Stoics believed that to get caught up in the idea of fairness is to give away your peace of mind. Let's face it, life doesn't owe us anything. The universe isn't keeping score or handing out prizes based on how deserving we think we are. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, said it best: "It is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." In other words, when we label something as unfair, we are allowing our emotions to take control. Stoics teach us that suffering comes not from the events themselves, but from how we interpret them. The moment we stop obsessing over fairness, we unlock the freedom to control how we respond. Think about it. How many times have we wasted energy fighting against the unfairness of a situation, only to realize that our focus on it only made the situation worse? Instead, imagine flipping the script. Instead of dwelling on what's unfair, focus on what you can control: your actions, your mindset, and your growth. This shift in perspective is powerful. It opens up a whole new way of thinking. What if, instead of feeling angry or resentful about a difficult situation, you looked at it as an opportunity to build resilience, patience, or understanding? So next time life throws you a curveball, pause and ask yourself, am I focusing on fairness, or am I focusing on growth? The Stoics believed that when we stop searching for fairness, we discover our own inner strength and peace. But what about you? Have you ever caught yourself obsessing over how unfair something is, only to realize it was holding you back? Let's start a conversation. Share your experiences in the comments below and tell us how you've shifted your perspective when faced with unfairness. We're all in this journey together. 3. I'm just too busy. How often do we catch ourselves saying, "I'm just too busy," as if being constantly overwhelmed is a badge of honor? In today's world, it seems like being busy is a universal excuse, but the Stoics would challenge that mindset entirely. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, warned against letting the noise of the world distract us from what truly matters. The Stoic philosophy teaches that it's not about how much we do, but how intentionally we live. The idea of being too busy often comes from saying yes to too many things that don't align with our true values or purpose. But here's the secret. It's not about having more time. It's about making better use of the time you have. Think about this for a moment. Every time you say, "I'm too busy," you're giving away your power to your circumstances. The Stoics believed in prioritizing what is truly important and cutting out the distractions that drain our energy. It's about focusing on what we can control: our actions, our choices, and our time. Instead of filling our days with endless tasks that don't contribute to our growth or happiness, Stoicism urges us to be mindful of what we spend our time on. Could it be that we're not actually too busy, but simply mismanaging our time and attention? Take a step back and ask yourself, what if being too busy is just an excuse? What if, instead of rushing from one thing to another, you took the time to reflect on your priorities? Stoicism challenges us to strip away the unnecessary clutter in our lives, leaving space for what truly nurtures us: our relationships, our personal growth, and our peace of mind. So, next time you catch yourself saying, "I'm too busy," take a moment to reconsider. Are you truly too busy, or have you just lost sight of what truly matters? We want to hear from you. How do you manage your time when everything feels chaotic? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. Let's talk about how we can all stop using "too busy" as an excuse and start living with more intention. 4. It's not my fault. Have you ever been in a situation where everything goes wrong and your first instinct is to say, "It's not my fault"? We've all been there. It's easy to point the finger when things go south, but here's the truth that Stoicism reveals. Blaming others or circumstances for our misfortunes only robs us of our power. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, often reminded us that the only thing we truly have control over is ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, and our responses. So when we say, "It's not my fault," we're shifting the responsibility away from ourselves, leaving us powerless to change the situation. Think about it. When we blame someone else or something external, we're giving away our ability to grow and learn from the experience. Stoicism teaches us to look inward and take responsibility, not just for our actions, but for how we choose to perceive the world. It's about understanding that life is full of unpredictable events, but how we respond is entirely in our hands. Rather than waiting for someone or something else to change, we can ask ourselves, what can I do differently? It's empowering to take responsibility because it puts you back in the driver's seat. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you shift into a mindset of ownership and control. Yes, bad things happen, but you have the ability to adapt, learn, and grow stronger. By taking responsibility, you transform your setbacks into stepping stones for future success. Next time you're tempted to say, "It's not my fault," pause and reflect. What role did you play in the situation, and how can you learn from it? We'd love to hear from you. When was the last time you took responsibility for something that initially felt like someone else's fault? Share your experience in the comments below, and let's discuss how taking ownership can change the way we approach life's challenges. 5. I deserve this. How often do we find ourselves thinking, "I deserve this," whether it's a promotion, a reward, or even a little indulgence? It's a thought that often creeps in when we feel entitled to something, believing that our hard work or our status should guarantee certain outcomes. But here's the challenge that Stoicism throws at us. Life doesn't owe us anything, and we don't deserve anything just because of what we've done or endured. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, famously said, "A man is not good because of what he has done, but because of what he is." The Stoics teach us to avoid entitlement because it ties our happiness to external rewards that we cannot control. When we say, "I deserve this," we're essentially saying that our happiness depends on something outside ourselves, something fleeting and uncertain. But think about this. When we stop expecting to get what we deserve, we unlock true freedom. The Stoics argue that our peace of mind shouldn't depend on the approval of others or the fulfillment of desires. Instead, it's about focusing on the actions that align with our values, not on what we think we're entitled to. It's not about the prize at the end of the road. It's about how we walk the path. If you work hard, you might be rewarded, but your true satisfaction comes from knowing you gave your best, not from any external validation. The next time you feel yourself thinking, "I deserve this," pause and reflect. What would happen if you stopped measuring your worth by external things and started valuing your efforts for the sake of the effort itself? How might your life shift if you let go of expectations and focused solely on your growth and character? We want to hear your thoughts. Have you ever felt entitled to something, only to realize that true fulfillment comes from within? Drop a comment below and share your experiences. How can we shift from entitlement to true contentment? Let's talk about how embracing this Stoic mindset can bring more peace and satisfaction into our lives. 6. I can't change. How many times have you found yourself stuck in a pattern of thinking, feeling like "I can't change" or "this is just who I am"? It's an easy trap to fall into, especially when facing personal struggles or habits that seem impossible to break. But here's where Stoicism steps in and shakes things up. The Stoics believe that change is not only possible, it's essential. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Stoicism teaches us that we are never too old, too broken, or too set in our ways to change. The truth is, we always have the power to shape ourselves into who we want to be, one choice at a time. The idea of "I can't change" is a limiting belief that keeps us from reaching our potential. The Stoics remind us that growth is a lifelong pursuit. Every day is an opportunity to learn something new, develop a new habit, or shift our perspective. Whether it's becoming more patient, disciplined, or kind, change doesn't happen overnight, but with small, deliberate actions, it is always within our reach. It's about understanding that our character isn't fixed. It's something we continually cultivate. Stoicism is all about mastering yourself, your thoughts, emotions, and actions. And that means you can change if you're willing to put in the work. Next time you catch yourself thinking, "I can't change," challenge that thought. Ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do today to improve? Whether it's controlling your reactions, focusing on gratitude, or taking responsibility for your choices, each small step adds up. It's the Stoic way of building a better version of yourself. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever felt like you couldn't change, only to realize that with effort, transformation is possible? What's one area of your life where you've made a positive change? Share your experience in the comments below, and let's talk about how we can all embrace the power to change and grow, just like the Stoics taught. 7. I need more stuff. How often do we tell ourselves, "I need more stuff"? Whether it's the latest gadget, a bigger house, or even a new wardrobe, it's easy to believe that material possessions will bring us happiness or fulfillment. But here's the eye-opening truth the Stoics have known for centuries. The pursuit of more stuff rarely leads to lasting satisfaction. In fact, it often does the opposite. The Stoics, led by figures like Seneca, understood that true happiness doesn't come from accumulating wealth or possessions. It comes from cultivating inner peace, wisdom, and self-control. Seneca famously said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In other words, it's not about how much you have, but how little you need. The Stoic approach challenges us to shift our focus away from external possessions and to find contentment in what we already have. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy life's comforts, but it's about recognizing that happiness doesn't depend on accumulating things. The more we let go of the desire for more, the more space we create for gratitude and contentment. Imagine living with less clutter, both physically and mentally, and focusing on the things that truly bring value to your life. Meaningful relationships, personal growth, and a sense of purpose. Think about it. What if we could learn to enjoy what we already have instead of constantly seeking more? What would our lives look like if we stopped measuring success by the number of things we own and instead measured it by the peace we've cultivated and the wisdom we've gained? The Stoics show us that true freedom comes when we stop chasing external validation and start focusing on our internal well-being. So, next time you catch yourself thinking, "I need more stuff," take a moment to reflect on what you already have. Are you truly satisfied, or are you just caught in the cycle of wanting more? We'd love to hear from you. Have you ever realized that the less you have, the more freedom and joy you experience? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's discuss how the Stoic mindset can help us live with less, but experience more. 8. I'm too old to change. How many times have you thought, "I'm too old to change"? It's a belief that many of us fall into as we get older, thinking that our habits, attitudes, or mindset are locked in place. But here's the empowering truth. The Stoics would completely reject that idea. The Stoic philosophers understood that change doesn't have an expiration date. In fact, it's never too late to start improving yourself or to begin making different choices. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, wrote in his Meditations, "It's not too late to live according to nature," meaning that no matter your age, you always have the opportunity to align your actions with wisdom, virtue, and self-discipline. Think about it. The idea that "I'm too old to change" is a mindset that limits your growth and potential. The Stoics believed that the path to personal development is a lifelong journey. Whether you're 30, 50, or 70, you can always develop new habits, learn new skills, and evolve your mindset. It's never about age. It's about your willingness to take action and learn from life's experiences. Just because you've lived a certain way for years doesn't mean you're stuck in that pattern forever. Every day offers a fresh opportunity to start anew, no matter how old you are. What would happen if, instead of feeling limited by your age, you embraced it as an advantage? With age comes experience, wisdom, and resilience. So if you're feeling like it's too late for change, consider this. You've already lived through challenges and lessons that could help you transform your life now, more than ever. The Stoics would tell you, don't let age be an excuse. Let it be a reason to take action. We want to hear from you. Have you ever felt like you were too old to change, only to realize that transformation is always possible? What's one change you've made later in life that's brought you more happiness or growth? Share your story in the comments below, and let's discuss how we can all keep growing, no matter our age. 9. I don't have time. How often do we use the excuse, "I don't have time"? Whether it's for exercising, reading, pursuing a passion, or even just taking a break, it's easy to feel like our busy lives leave no room for what really matters. But here's the game-changing perspective the Stoics offer. Time isn't something we don't have. It's something we choose how to use. In fact, the Stoic philosophers, like Seneca, were deeply aware of how fleeting time is. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The Stoics understood that time is our most valuable resource, and it's up to us to decide how to spend it wisely. Instead of getting caught up in the endless cycle of too busy, Stoicism teaches us to prioritize what truly aligns with our values and goals. Think about it. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, yet some people seem to accomplish so much more with that time. The difference is not about having more time, but about using it with intention. The Stoics remind us that the way we spend our time reflects our values. If we say we don't have time for something, we're essentially saying it isn't a priority for us. It's all about awareness, recognizing where our time is truly going and whether it aligns with what's most important. What if, instead of saying, "I don't have time," we began saying, "What can I make time for today?" Every day is an opportunity to intentionally choose where to focus our energy. So, next time you catch yourself saying, "I don't have time," stop and reflect. What am I prioritizing? Is there a way I can shift my schedule to make space for what I value most? The Stoic approach invites us to become masters of our time, not slaves to it. We'd love to hear from you. How do you manage your time in a busy world? Have you ever realized that time is less about availability and more about priorities? Share your tips and experiences in the comments below, and let's start a conversation about how we can all make the most of our time. 10. I can't handle this. How often do we tell ourselves, "I can't handle this"? Whether it's the pressures of work, personal challenges, or just life in general, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But here's the powerful insight the Stoics offer. You can handle more than you think. The Stoics believed that we are far stronger and more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations, The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This means that every challenge we face is not something that should break us down, but something that can help us grow and move forward. The Stoics understood that we don't choose the obstacles we face, but we do choose how we respond to them. Next time you find yourself thinking, "I can't handle this," take a moment to pause and reflect. In reality, you've probably faced tougher moments in your life and made it through. Think about all the times you thought you couldn't handle something, yet here you are today, stronger and wiser for it. The Stoics believed that adversity is a tool for personal growth, not a barrier to it. Each challenge is an opportunity to prove to yourself how resilient and capable you are. Rather than feeling helpless, you can adopt a mindset that views obstacles as stepping stones to personal strength and wisdom. When life gets tough, it's easy to spiral into feelings of helplessness. But the Stoic approach is all about taking control of what you can, your attitude and your actions. Instead of saying, "I can't handle this," try asking, "How can I handle this better?" Embrace the discomfort, face the challenge head-on, and know that with the right mindset, you are more than capable of overcoming whatever comes your way. We want to hear from you. What's a moment when you thought you couldn't handle a challenge, but you did? How did you shift your mindset to overcome it? Share your story in the comments below, and let's discuss how we can all embrace life's challenges with Stoic resilience and turn them into opportunities for growth. 11th, I can't do this alone. How often do we tell ourselves, "I can't do this alone"? It's a thought that often pops up when we're faced